Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. Got an awesome interview coming to you guys here. This man needs no introduction because I'm a huge fan of his music and the bands that he has been in, but I'm going to tell you who the hell it is anyway. From Blitz Kid, he's doing his own thing with A Gathering of None other than TB. TB, man, how's it going, dude?
It's good. Just hanging out here in New England, in Massachusetts, watching it snow. As I said to you earlier, we're expecting about 2 to 3 feet, so it's going to be a rough couple of days. But, you know, we're ready.
Yeah, I guess Mother Nature has really took it easy on you guys so far.
It's been a pretty mild winter up to this point, but today she's pissed. So.
Oh, yeah. I think she's mad because Blitz Kid's ended.
Could be. I'm not sure.
So, you have A Gathering of None, which is your new band that's coming out. Let's talk about that a little bit. What inspired that, and what's going on with this new band?
You know, what really made it take shape was that I went into the studio around this time last year, actually, and had some songs that I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with, because I wasn't sure. I knew for sure that quite a few of them weren't going to be right for Blitz, and at that point we'd already established that Blitz Kid was kind of winding down, coming to a close. And I wasn't really sure if they were going to be right for Vegora either, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to go in and record these songs by myself, meaning I played everything. I played, all the guitars, the bass, the drums, and did all the vocals and whatnot. So I was in the studio for 3 days at Black Coffee Sound in Williamsburg, Mass. And, I recorded 8 songs, and I just kind of sat on them for a while. I did let the guys from Vegora hear them. And we, at some point, were initially going to use a few of them. And, like I said, the Blitz thing was winding down, so that wasn't really something that I was going to bring to the table for that. But, with Vegora, we were actually thinking about using a few of them. And then, I decided that, they were already done. It made no sense for me to go in and change the songs up and have, no offense to anyone in Vegora, I felt like they were where I wanted them to be, stylistically and songwriting wise, and they had everything that I wanted to have in them already. So I didn't really see the point in Vegora redoing the songs, costing more time and money in the studio that we really didn't have. So I decided to keep them for myself. And in November of this year, I'd made that decision final, and in November of 2012, I should say, I made that decision final, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, because people have been urging me for a couple of years now to do a solo thing. And so initially that's how it all began, and I thought, it's just me, so there's no one else. So I thought, well, a perfect band name would be, A Gathering of None, because there's no one, just me. And so that's when everything kind of just started taking off, was this past November. And now things have evolved to where I have a couple of guys that are going to be doing guitar stuff for me live and for the band, because I've officially decided that it's now going to be a full band and not just me, because for 2 reasons. One, I don't have the kind of financial backing available to myself to where I can just have guys hired on just to play live shows for the stuff that I've already written. Mm-hmm. 2, I think, I work better in band situations, and I can bounce ideas off of these guys like crazy. And 3, if they're into it and they're dedicated and they're capable players, then, why not,
Mm-hmm. Now, with A Gathering of None, what do you hope to accomplish with this band that you haven't done with the others? I'm just throwing that out there just to say.
The main thing for me is, and a lot of people probably have this perception that, TV's, doesn't want to have anything to do with horror rock anymore. And, truth be told, I kind of don't, because I did that for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And I still love it. I still like a lot of the bands that I still loved back in the day when I was, knee deep in that scene and that community. I'm still a part of it. I'm always going to be a part of it. But I've always had outside interest musically, and I've always listened to so many other different types of music than just that I kind of just wanted to establish something different, and just kind of start completely over. Which to be honest with you, at the start of it was a scary process. It was something that I wasn't really sure that was going to be perceived, very well by any of the people that were into the stuff that I did in Blitzkid or Vagora. But so far so good. People seem to really like it, and it's just something different. And I just want to establish that there's more to me as an artist than the stuff that I did with Blitzkid. That's not all that I can do, and I want to show people that I want to showcase that.
Right. Oh, exactly. It's cool that you're doing this, because the 2 songs that you did put up on Reverb Nation are just phenomenal. I mean, they're really good songs. And plus
I appreciate that.
And plus, you've got a new one that's up there right now. I think it's called Just Be Still. That's another good one.
Right, yeah.
My advice to you as a friend is just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of people probably also assume that, oh, well, he's not, he doesn't want, again, he doesn't want to be part of horror rock. It doesn't make him happy anymore. And, there again, a part of that is true. Not that I don't want to be a part of it, but I became, kind of unhappy during the last couple of years of Blitzkid because, I just wanted to do something different, and it was nothing personal or anything towards anyone in the band or any of our fans or the horror rock scene as a whole. It's just, you eat bologna for 15 years, you want to have, maybe turkey every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's just a desire to do something different, and I've always played different music on my own, just playing guitar at home or whatever, or writing different types of songs that didn't really fit anything that I was doing. And I thought, well, this would be the perfect opportunity for me to just do a complete, 180 and, surprise some people. And I think it has, and I think it's been surprising in a good way because the response that I've gotten from the Gathering of None stuff has been very, very favorable, and people seem to really like it, which is good. I'm not hoping to accomplish fame and fortune with this band. I just want to go out and play a few shows a year and release my own music on my own terms and just have fun with it.
What style is this band going to be? Do you think? What are you hoping to accomplish with that one?
Well, that's a loaded question because the Gathering of None basically has no rules. I mean, I'm not gonna put out a we're not gonna put out a reggae album. Obviously, we're not gonna put out a death metal album, which I would totally do because I love death metal. But I would probably just do a completely different thing if I were gonna do that. But with the Gathering of None, we have influences from melodic punk. We have influences from hardcore. We have influences from a lot of 90s alternative type stuff like Alice in Chains, Only Living Witness, Hum, Quicksand, Handsome, bands like that. King's X is also another big influence.
Nice.
And these are all bands that I've loved for years, and they just all kind of meld together to make a Gathering of None what it is. I guess some of the newer material that I've been writing and sharing back and forth with Carlos is kind of stoner rock-esque, I guess I would say, probably more along the lines of Corrosion of Conformity, maybe Queens of the Stone Age, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and like I said, there's really no rules, man. I mean, the sky's the limit, and when people come to see us live, I hope that every song they'll take something away from it and go, wow, I like that tune. Even though it's not really my thing, I like this tune because, that's my ultimate, that's the ultimate compliment, I would think, as far as a Gathering of None, is there's truly going to be something for everybody that's into, harder or heavier music, per se.
I really feel for where you're coming from because I was in the paranormal field for 5 years. After so long, it's like you said, I just got tired of doing it. I just want to go a different direction because I found my answers out. I got my answers or my questions answered. So how many places can you go to ask the same question over and over to get your answer?
Exactly. I mean, not that, and I don't want to come across like, Blitzkid was not fun because it totally was. The last 2 tours were 2 of the best tours I've ever been on in my life. And we had so much love shown towards us and so many people showed us mad respect and it was so good. and everybody got along, and we just played our asses off every night, and we gave 110%. It was great, and that's what I took from that tour, from the last 2 tours that Blitzkid did as a band, was that, man, this is how it feels,
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's supposed to feel, This isn't just pure enjoyment and just loving what you do.
Yeah.
And but there again, I think, it was sad, and it was definitely an emotional roller coaster for all of us. I think every day, because years ago, the last thing I would have ever wanted was Blitzkid to stop. But as people get older, people change, and your priorities change, and your perception of things change. And I think we left a really nice mark for as far as what we did in the 15 years we were a band. We left a really nice mark on not only the horror rock scene, but just on the punk rock scene in general. I think we got a lot of respect from people that we looked up to, like, when we did the Face to Face Strung Out tour, those 2 bands came away being genuine fans of Blitzkid, which was awesome, and we're still friends with all those guys.
Yeah.
And those were 2 of our biggest influences that we got to tour with, and not a lot of bands can even say that they've toured, much less tour with, 2 of their biggest influences. So that alone, was proof to me that, we did something right, and we did something that people liked and respected, and that's, at the end of the day, that's all you can hope for. And I used to think, years ago, like, oh, well, we don't make much money at this, it's always seemed like a struggle, but that's why, but you struggle to get to that point, and even that is just a little bit of success. That matters so much, because I view it differently now than I did a few years ago. I looked at success, as far as the band, as far as like monetary standpoint, I looked at it from that end of things. At the end of the day, man, you're successful because you have fans all over the world who sing along to every one of your songs and know every single word, whether it be in California or Kentucky or Germany. They know every single word, and they're glad to see you, and they buy your stuff, and they listen to your music on a daily basis. That's successful.
Yeah. Now, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I've been a big fan of you guys ever since I heard Blitzkid from day one, and you guys have been a big influence on me. So to see Blitzkid coming to an end was, like you said, it was sad, but at the same token, there's other great things that could come from this too.
Exactly.
We did the 2 Blitzkid tribute shows to you guys. Right. So, like I said, you guys carried the torch. That's a lot to hang your hat on, man, and be proud of too.
I'm certainly proud of it, man. I don't look back on anything with bad taste in my mouth or anything like that. I'm certainly proud of what Blitzkid did, and people all over the world know who we are, and they like our songs. Which, again, like I said, that's a huge measure of success in my mind.
I know you said you had some other guys that are in the band with you. Can you say who they are right now at this time, or you still want to wait on that?
I can tell you. One of the biggest things that I wanted to try to do with the Gathering of None was not have too many people involved that were involved in horror rock. Mm-hmm. I don't mind having 1 or 2, because
right.
Let's be honest. I've made so many friends, and I have so many peers and people that I respect from that scene that are definitely capable of doing what I want musicians to be able to do in a Gathering of None. It would be silly not to seek a couple of them out, and I did. As far as the guitar players, I have Loki, a.k.a. Carlos, from Doomsday Prophecy, Chemical Company. He's going to be the lead guitarist, and I have my friend Justin, who used to play in a couple of horror rock type bands down in San Antonio, who we met through our friend Fausto over the years in Blitzkid, playing guitar as well. I'm still looking for a bass player and drummer, so that's kind of I was talking to Carlos and Justin about this the other day. It's kind of a triple whammy, because there's the one hand where I don't want to have too many people that are involved in the horror rock circles, and I'm trying to stay away from that. There's 2, which the band stylistically really doesn't have a genre specific, so there's going to be the challenge in finding a bass player and drummer who can pretty much do a lot of things and not just one particular style. And 3, there's just the pain in the ass of finding a bass player and a drummer, period. Right. Because bass players and drummers traditionally are the hardest guys to find, So I'm still looking out for those fronts. So if anyone is interested, do not hesitate to contact me.
Right. Oh, definitely. It's like finding a drummer and a bass player is like finding a needle in a haystack sometimes.
It truly is, man. They're diamonds in the rough. Everybody plays guitar, everybody sings, which is fine. But I got that covered. And I'm going to be playing some guitar live as well. So we're actually going to have 3 guitarists whenever we start doing live shows. I won't be playing guitar the entire time like I normally have been in any other band that I've been in, but I will be playing from time to time. So we're going to have a nice, huge wall of guitar every time you come to see a Gathering of None.
Yeah. When people come to see a Gathering of None for a live show, what would you want the people to take away from that show, seeing you with the other bands?
It's going to be interesting because, like I said, I'm not going to be playing guitar the whole time, which is something I've never done in any band that I've ever been in since the time I was 14. So to be just kind of a front man and just to be singing most of the time, or at least half of the time, just singing, is going to be odd. It's probably going to be uncomfortable for me at first because I've always had a guitar strapped to me. But it's a challenge that I'm willing to accept and one that I, think that I'll be able to excel at because, I've never gotten the chance to just be a front man and try to get the crowd going and just be able to concentrate on singing most of the time. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be different, but it's this whole thing is hard and it's different. So, just add that to the list. But I think what I would want people most to notice is that we're going to be having fun. It's going to be very energetic, and it's going to be just fun, catchy songs. Some of the song material is, kind of coming of age, which I guess has a lot to do with me being about 30. And that's, I hope that the songs that A Gathering of None plays live and that people will hear once they have the CD and everything, that they'll, be able to identify with them, whether they're, 18 or they're, 48 or whatever. I don't think it's a very age-specific music or anything that we're going to be doing. I just think a lot of people will be able to identify with it, and at the end of the day, they'll be able to say that we write good songs and that they can remember our songs and they're catchy and they have a lot of hooks and they have a lot of melody, which is awesome. That's what I expect from people to take away from A Gathering of None live shows.
The EP that you have coming out, when does it actually come out?
You know what? It's it all hinges upon a couple of things, and that's the layout and everything is done. And my friend Charlie Kruger has done, fantastic work doing the layout for me, and just want to give a shout out to him, say thanks for all the stuff that he has helped me out with, because I have no idea how to do anything graphic design related on a computer. I can turn one on, I can type on one, that's about it. So the fact that I had him in my corner saying, hey man, if you need any graphic design stuff or, CD layout, whatever, I'm glad to help. Just, throw me a CD when it's done. And that's been a true blessing because he's really helped out and he's done a lot of great work. But to answer your question, the layout's done. The tracks are all mixed. I'm just trying to get some funds together right now for mastering and duplication. So I hope to have it out by mid-March. If not mid-March, then maybe the last couple of weeks of March, almost April. But it's definitely going to be coming out before April. I know that everybody that's pre-ordered is expecting it by mid-March, so I hope I can deliver on that. If not, I'm going to have to get in touch with everyone that's pre-ordered it and let them know that, hey, a couple setbacks, but it's coming soon.
Yeah.
It's not going to be months and months and months of a delay. It's just going to be maybe a couple of weeks at most. So, like I said, mid-March, late March at the latest.
Yeah, I also pre-ordered it, so I'm anxious to hear the rest of them. I think what you're doing is really cool, man. Just never give up on what you want to do. Just be happy with yourself. That's my advice, as always, to anybody. So.
Oh, that's the thing. I think I've reached a point now where I just it's not because I'm difficult to work with or anything like that. Because I'm sure a lot of people have been speculating, like, oh well, why is TB doing this all himself, or why did he record it all himself?
Right.
At the end of the day, man, it's just like you write a song and you know best how you want it to sound.
Exactly.
And And I had the advantage of being able to play every instrument that would be needed on, in a band recording. So, why do it yourself? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
If you can, go ahead. So I just kind of bit the bullet, and I did. I started out as a drummer, when I was like 12, 13 years old. Then I moved to guitar. Then I learned bass along the way. And, I've always sang in any band that I was in, so that's kind of always been there too. If I can do all of that, then why not just do it? Now, having said that, like I said, I am trying to get A Gathering of None to be a full band. So in the future, because I feel like my bass playing and my drumming are eventually going to be limited to any recording type situations, that's where a bass player and a drummer are going to come in and do their thing and, put their own stamp on songs that myself and Carlos or myself and Justin might write. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but for now, the first EP is coming out, like I said, mid to late March, and then the second one hopefully around, September, and then we'll debut live sometime around my birthday in September, which is going to be, probably anywhere between the 10th or the 15th, somewhere around in there of September. So it's just, it's the biggest thing that I'm really happy about is that I don't have any deadlines with this, because it's essentially my brainchild, my baby, so to speak. So I can just go at my own pace, and I don't have a timetable. Obviously, you want to get things done quickly because you don't want people to forget you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I could just kind of take my time on this more so than I would, normally, which is also advantageous.
I wish you all the best of luck with this. I've always supported you and will support you no matter what. So anything from me that you need, brother, just to hit me up and it'll be on there in 2 seconds. So,
I do appreciate it very much.
That's not a problem whatsoever. TB, how can people get a hold of you just to say, hey, we support you and we want to help out or any way? How can they do that?
They can just message me personally on Facebook, or they can message the band page because, myself and Carlos and Justin all handle the band page on Facebook as well. Mm-hmm. It's facebook.com/A Gathering of None. Reverb Nation, we have a Reverb Nation page as well. If you want to just say hey on Twitter, we have a Twitter page. All the basic social networking stuff. We have all that set up. So, if anybody wants to drop a line and say, hey, we love you, or hey, you suck, either way, man, we have all those avenues available for you.
I want to thank TB for being on the show this evening. Once again, he's been a big influence on me growing up with Blitzkid and the other bands that he's been a part of. I'm happy for him for what he's doing right now. Anybody out there that wants to do something, don't sit back. Go do it. You don't know until you try. Want to thank you for being on the show this evening and wish him all the best of luck. We got A Gathering of None coming up. I do have a couple of tracks I may play if TB will let me. And
Absolutely.
Also, too, stick around. You only hear these interviews right here on Uber City Radio and BODS Mayhem Hour. Thanks, TB, for being on the show. And would you care to do a promo before I let you go here?
Absolutely, man. Let's do it.
I'd just say this is TB from A Gathering of None, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Okay. This is TB from A Gathering of None, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Nice. Thanks, TB. Sit back, relax, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks.
Hey, brother. Thank you.